All right, so a few years ago, my husband was watching March Madness, and he was setting up the television to do picture-in-picture. And what he wanted was he wanted the picture, the small picture, to take up a quarter of the screen. That's what he wanted. The problem is that he did his math without thinking, because he's older and he doesn't remember all of these little things. And he said, okay, this is the pixels. So I have my 1080 by 1920. And since I want it to be a quarter of the screen, he said, well, just divide them both by quarter. And what happened was that this is how big the screen was. And it was like the world's tiniest little basketball players running around and you couldn't see a thing. So we talked about it and we said, okay, well, hold on, wait a second. This is what it is that we want. So even if I don't think about math, if this is what I want and I want to know what does this length need to be and what does this length need to be, I hope you recognize that these would need to be equal and that these would need to be equal, so I would simply divide by 2. Now, how does that have anything to do with ratios? Well, taking up a quarter of my screen means taking up a quarter of my area, which means I want my r squared to be 1/4, whereas the pixels are the lengths, so I need my r to be 1/2. So I figure out what my new pixels would be, which would be my 540 times 960, and then that will beautifully sit in a quarter of my screen there. Kind of cool. All right, so we have our next one. We have similar cylinders, and we're talking about surface area, so we're talking about r squared. Now remember, pi means 3.14, so I can just cancel both of those. I can reduce also my zeros, and then 15 goes into both 15 as well as 135, which gives me 1/9. So that's r squared, which means r is 1/3, which means r cubed is 1/27. So now I look and see what am I looking for. I'm looking for volume, so I'm going to use my r cubed. The smaller one is 250 pi, and I'm looking for the larger, so I simply multiply this times this, which gives me 6750 times 3.14. That is my answer. All right, let's look at 3. We'll do the first 3. Enlarge 25 times. That is r. And I just want to go ahead and do the other ones. This is 625? And I'm actually going to stop there because I actually am looking for paper needing to wrap it. So the original took 24, and I'm looking for my new enlargement, which is E. So I do a little cross multiplication, which gives me this. But that's just inches squared. Now I need to then multiply that times the cost, which gives me then $750, which would mean that I would need to be a little bit more careful what it is that I would do. Did I do that right? Because that's a lot of money. Times 0.05. Yep, $750. Not going to do that.